All right, guys, I got 78 breaking news stories I wanted to deliver for you here. And needless to say, the destruction of the country continues. It continues. So let's start with this. Last year, Elon Musk and SpaceX, his company, claimed that the NLRB, National Labor Relations Board, is unconstitutional. Now, just so everybody understands, the NLRB, a better way to describe the NLRB is they're the labor police. If your boss is screwing you over, if there's hazardous work conditions, if you're trying to unionize but they're blocking it, any sort of dispute you have along those lines, the NLRB is the government agency that comes in that reins in the CEOs and the owners and the billionaires and basically says, no, there are rules that you have to follow and you have to treat your workers right. That's what the NLRB is. So Elon Musk and SpaceX claim the NLRB is unconstitutional. And the reason they claim that is because there were a bunch of labor violations charges against SpaceX. So basically they're exploiting their workers. Elon is exploiting his workers. Well, now under Trump, the NLRB is going to drop its opposition to this claim. So in other words, the labor board will no longer fight in court against the charge that it shouldn't exist. This is what just happened. So I just need everybody to understand the idea of a populist right is completely dead and gone now. What we were told the populist right is hey, on social issues, they might be conservative, they might be anti-abortion, they might be anti-weed, whatever it is, right? But on labor issues, on workers' issues, they're pro-union, they're pro-higher wages and things of that nature. Just so everybody understands, that's dead and gone. There is no populist right. Or if there ever was, it was completely and utterly co-opted by the corporatists. Because now the so-called populist right administration, they've taken a sledgehammer to every single government agency that does anything good for anybody. So, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they are the anti-scam police. Trump has already destroyed that. The SEC, they've been destroyed as well. Now the NLRB is being destroyed as well. There's going to be basically no billionaire police out there and corporate police out there, and they want to allow bosses to exploit their workers to the high heavens. So this is, in effect, trying to completely defang and eliminate the NLRB. So now I'm just getting started, guys. I have way too much stuff to get to. So we also have, this is a little piece of good news for you. 13 states are suing over Doge access to government payment systems that has all of our personal data. So that's a great thing. We've already seen some labor unions sued Elon Musk as well. There's been a number of lawsuits already. And in fact, for some particular government agencies, they've already issued a stay where they say, look, you can't access that data. But having said that, I don't know, I just feel like the resistance is really dragging its feet and moving kind of slowly here. And I also fear that even with the courts siding with the people over Elon, that Elon still might say, hey, fuck off, I'm going to keep doing this, and Trump is going to have his back. And then it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to arrest him? Are you going to put a restraining order on him and not allow him into the buildings that have all the government access? Or are you not going to allow him into the Treasury or the Labor Department or wherever it is? Right? So I'm happy that 13 states are suing, but I mean, guys, up and at 'em. Like, we need, it's got to be way more aggressive than this, way stronger than this. It's completely and utterly illegal for Elon Musk and his little 23-year-old pilled up sycophants to be accessing all of our data every single day, hacking into computer systems. We covered last night, they illegally hacked into the Energy Department, which contains our nuclear information. A 23-year-old with no clearance, no background check, no nothing, at the will of Elon is going, yeah, I'm gonna hack into illegally the Energy Department. This is where we are, man. So I'm happy that they're suing, but I think everything's just moving way too slowly for my liking. Now, another thing to point out, there was a Republican about a week ago who introduced a bill to abolish OSHA. OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. And OSHA as well is like, they're the ones who who enforce rules against, like, hey, you're not allowed to make a worker use that chemical or work with that chemical if it's going to burn their face off, right? Like, I mean, I'm simplifying here, but that's the bottom line, is that this would be the administration that is the watchdog to make sure that workers are treated fairly vis-a-vis like hazardous material, right? That's what OSHA is. And their main goal is protect worker safety and protect health. Well, guess what? You have this Republican introducing the bill to abolish OSHA, which almost feels quaint at this point because I'm sure Doge is going to try to get to OSHA on their own anyway and take a wrecking ball to it anyway, even without congressional legislation. But Tesla had 3 times as many OSHA violations as the 10 largest U.S. plants combined. So to put that in perspective for you, Tesla is 4% of the U.S. auto manufacturing market, yet they make up 75% of OSHA violations. So he is a serial violator, Elon Musk is, and you have Republicans proposing a bill to get rid of the entire thing, get rid of all of OSHA, and also, I guarantee you within this next week or two, you will hear a story about Doge illegally hacking into OSHA and trying to cut funding for OSHA as well. So again, I wish that was all on this front, but we're not even close. Crystal brought this up yesterday, but I looked a little more into it. It's true, 30,000 tons of food is stuck in a Houston port after Trump halted all foreign aid. So now, because they're doing this so haphazardly, because there's no congressional authorization, because there's no planning, because they're just taking a sledgehammer to everything in sight, they decided on a whim, no more foreign aid, we're cutting that off. Again, wildly illegal. They have no right or ability to do this. Congress controls the spending. It goes through the House, the Senate, the president signs it, then that's it. There is no messing with it on the back end. That's not a thing, because then you're giving some random bureaucrat the power to usurp Congress and the president, which would be mental, right? But now, as a direct result of what they're doing, 30,000 tons of food stuck in a Houston port, and it's going to fucking rot because they decided willy-nilly to halt all foreign aid. Let me ask Republicans, right? I don't even care what your ideology is. No matter who you are. If I told you the option, we already have the food. The options are it sits there and rots and we get nothing from it and we're worse off, or you just take the shipment and you send it out to make sure that some starving child or starving innocent man or woman can eat. What would you answer that? There's only one reasonable answer. Anybody else who would say the opposite is fucking lying or they're a colossal monster. There is no way around that. So we have that. We also have, because of the spending freezes, the New York Times was able to identify 30 frozen studies, including malaria treatment for children under the age of 5, a device to prevent HIV infection, a method to treat cervical cancer, support for pregnant women to reduce malnutrition, and tuberculosis treatment for children. These are just some of the things that they froze. Meanwhile, you go onto right-wing Twitter, and every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry is spewing some bullshit about what they're pretending U.S. aid funds, which they don't. I'm sure you all saw that viral bogus claim about Ben Stiller getting $4 million to go to take pictures with Zelensky in Ukraine. Totally fucking made up. Absolute nonsense. They're making claims about U.S. aid is funding Politico. That's also completely and utterly fucking made up. Any money that went to Politico from the government was literally across the entire government, and all it was people getting Politico Pro subscriptions. So you had like Lauren Boebert going out there complaining about, look, USA, the U.S. government is funding Politico, and that's why they're so bad. Meanwhile, her own fucking office has a Politico Pro subscription. These people are not serious. These people are fucking liars through and through. You're the most absurd story. They're funding this, they're funding that. By the way, they're pretending like we all just got access to this information because of Doge and Elon. All of that information was available before all this. It was all publicly available, and now they're misreading it and or lying about it. And look at all these ridiculous things that we fund. And not a single one of them will tell you the things that they cut off funding to, which are inarguably things that should exist, right? So, for example, how many of these right-wing accounts are telling you that because of the federal freeze, rural community health centers have been defunded? It's frozen. Preschools with Head Start funding, they stopped that too. Thousands of federal employees have lost their funding. Rice, wheat, and soybean farmers are not getting their subsidies. There's job training organizations for disabled adults. Their funding got froze. Nonprofits for families with disabled kids, their funding is frozen. Rural business subsidies, frozen. Clean energy startups, frozen. So all this stuff, again, I want to reiterate this, guys. It's not debatable. This is not debatable. This is all illegal. This is all illegal. Every single red cent that has been frozen is unauthorized, and any court in America will tell you that. Yes, even the right-wing courts will tell you that. All right, more. So we have up to 9 states including Illinois, Rhode Island, Michigan, Nebraska, Virginia, Vermont. We have a whole bunch of states, Montana, where federally funded community health centers are not getting access to their money anymore. They're unable to draw down their grant funding. So again, that was illegally frozen as well. Literally any one of these things are a massive scandal, a massive crime, an impeachable offense, a fireable offense. Elon should have been locked up the second he stepped foot in the Treasury building, before he even asked to illegally hack the payment system, the $6 trillion payment system. He already should have been arrested. As I pointed out the other day, if George Soros tried to illegally hack the Treasury, they would have deployed a SWAT team within 4 minutes, and nobody would deny that. All right, more. So this is crazy. Right now, Elon is at the Department of Education. And so you have a bunch of Democratic Congress people who said, all right, well, we're going to go there. We're going to go there. Guess what? Elon was allowed in, but they are blocking members of Congress from going in. So Maxwell Frost was one of them. They blocked him. Are you kidding me? So an unelected, non-government agency led by the world's richest robber baron gets to waltz in there and illegally hack the payment system, but a congressperson or representative of the American people who was elected is not allowed in there? Again, I don't know what word you want to use for this, but it's certainly beyond a constitutional crisis, and it's certainly bordering on a coup, if not outright a coup. All right, more. Guess what else they're cutting? Guess where else the funding is being slashed? Ready? NOAA, the NOAA, and also the National Weather Service, the NWS. So all of like the weather forecasts that we all rely on, they are trying to gut funding to these agencies and reduce staff by 50%. So we're going to get worse meteorology, worse weather reports, not as much information. And my guess is in the long run, what they're going to try to do is privatize it so that they can price gouge. The robber barons can price gouge off of it. Take it from a free service and make it no longer free. This is the ideology. This is what I'm trying to get across to you. Very few people support it. It's only the robber barons who support this and true Kool-Aid drinking, hardcore libertarian anarcho-capitalists who support this. And that's only like 2% of the fucking population, right? Because this is Javier Milei's ideology. It is anti-government fundamentalism. And he went in there and slashed every government program in sight. And guess what? Poverty skyrocketed up to 53%. And this is what Elon is effectively trying to do. Then we get to the corruption front, and it just gets darker and darker. So Pam Bondi, who is a Trump cabinet pick, I don't know if they held the vote on her yet. What does he want her for again? Attorney General, I think. I think he wants for Attorney General. Anyway, Pam Bondi was picked for the cabinet. I don't know if they had the vote on her yet. I guess they had to if this announcement came out. But according to Lever News and David Sirota, she just announced she's going to limit the enforcement of anti-corruption laws against foreign agents trying to influence U.S. politics. They disbanded an anti-corruption agency. Now, by the way, would you like to take a guess about her backstory? It turns out she was a foreign agent for Qatar, and her old lobby firm represents other foreign governments. Oh, would you look at that? Isn't that cute? Isn't that sweet? We've never seen a more brazenly corrupt administration. People forget, on day one, Trump signed an executive order, which you might as well call the fill the swamp executive order, because he said any rules and regulations and anti-corruption standards for my cabinet around me, axe them, gone, throw them in the garbage, we're done. This is what he did, day one. Fill the swamp executive order. You may as well call it that. All right, more. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of State, remember, this guy is a massive alcoholic who drinks on the job. He's an alleged sexual abuser as well. He also has a Crusader tattoo on him. That's healthy for the Secretary of State, right? He said we should preemptively bomb North Korea and Iran. He literally got into politics by being a pro-Iraq war activist. A pro-Iraq war activist. You literally can't make this stuff up. He also got literal war criminals pardoned by Trump. The Blackwater war criminals from the first administration. He's the one who freed the people who did the Nisour Square massacre, who gunned down innocent Iraqi civilians. Well, anyway, turns out he forgot to turn his Venmo friends private. And guess who are in his Venmo friends? United Health executives and defense contractors. So, of course, here we go again. I mean, we're at the point now where there is zero accountability for any kind of corruption. Zero. I mean, it doesn't get more corrupt than this. It doesn't get more pathetic than this. In any functioning country, homie would have been locked up, not approved to be Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense. I think it's state. Anyway, all right, more. So this is one that we're going to have to keep our eye on moving forward. It's reported by Newsweek that Trump is trying to sell off half of all federal property. Half. Now, again, as of right now, this would be wildly illegal. The way that they're just going around Congress in every respect, illegal is not a strong enough word. We need a stronger word for, like, clearly and fucking obviously easily illegal, right? But why would he do that? Why would he try to sell off half of all federal property? Well, the answer is simple. This is an attempt at mass privatization looting. So he'll sell the properties to his Maga robber baron buddies, and then he'll let them price gouge taxpayers to make a profit, to make billions. This is what the goal is. So it's literally just rent seeking. That's it. It's literally just price gouging. Let's find a way to make a buck by doing fucking nothing. That's the point. And this is what they do, guys. This is what the billionaires and the oligarchs and the robber barons and the kleptocrats, this is what they do. They are a parasite. They are a leech. They're basically going to the treasury and looting it and robbing us blind and finding 1,000 ways to scam us. I mean, it shouldn't surprise you. 2 days before his inauguration, Trump scammed his own supporters with a crypto meme coin. Like, nothing's off the table now. I hope everybody understands that. All right, more. So, we've been told 1,000 times over, oh, the right-wingers love free speech. Trump is the most pro-free speech president in the world. Well, guess what? The FCC is now investigating a San Francisco radio station because they didn't like their ICE reporting. So Brendan Carr, that's the FCC chair, he's already opened an investigation. And again, the main reason here is San Francisco's radio station KCBS. He didn't like their immigration reporting last month. So, I mean, just, if you actually believe in free speech, I'm begging with you, I'm pleading with you, for the love of God, you got to fucking speak up about this. This is a war on the First Amendment and freedom of the press. That's what it is. We don't like what they said, so we're going to sue them, right? By the same token, we've gone through this before, but CBS, PBS, NPR, there's all these different media outlets where Trump is like suing them, and it's just a ploy. He knows he can't win the case, but he's like, it's an attempt to apply pressure to them, and then what they do is they say, okay, like CBS gave him $15 million in an attempt to be like, hey, be cool, right? We won't fight it in court. Here, we'll pay you $15 million. Everything's cool, right? And it's effectively a bribe. It's like CBS saying, hey, we'll go easier on you. Just don't drag this out, because they don't want to have to go to court. It might end up costing more if you go to court than if you just settle up front. But it's a frivolous lawsuit. Everybody agrees. Trump would lose the lawsuit. But you see this happening with all these media companies. They're bending the knee. They're falling in line. Meta, which is Facebook, they gave Trump $25 million. Why'd they do that? Remember when he was banned initially after January 6th? They were like, okay, here, we're cool now, right? We're good now, right? And guess what? You're never going to cave enough to the fascist. They're never going to be like, oh, you know what? We like these people. They're good guys. Let's hang it up. Let's not go after them. No, because the second you step out of line, even 1%, they come to put your fucking head on the chopping block. And this is an example of it right here with this FCC investigation. And it's the same thing with all these companies that Trump is like settling with and just getting payments and bribes from. This is what we're talking about, bro. Like, just an outright war on free speech and the First Amendment. All right, more. Now, this is wild, and this should concern everybody. So the flu is apparently so bad right now that schools across the country are closing. There's a surge of the flu. At least 41 states are currently reporting very high or high influenza-like illness activity. Now, this is stuff, guys, it's harder and harder to get this information. Why? Because Donald Trump, remember that freeze he put on the CDC and our different health agencies? Hey, shut the fuck up. No internal communication, no external communication. He put a freeze on it. Now, we also have what? New York Times is reporting the CDC posted but then deleted data on bird flu spreading between cats and people. So there's been some cases. I mean, bird flu is running rampant, right? That's why egg prices are so high. You got all these different animals like dropping dead, and herds that have to be culled because of bird flu. But now we're seeing some cases in humans, right? And so this data was presented, a study that says, yeah, it's spreading between cats and people. The CDC posted it, immediately deleted it. Guys, what do you think it is? This is censorship. This is censorship. This is the Trump administration playing politics. They don't want a repeat of COVID when everything went to shit, his approval rating plummeted, he couldn't fucking manage the thing to save his life, right? But their plan this time is not, hey, we're going to manage it better. Their plan is out of sight, out of mind, shove your head in the sand. If people don't know that people are dying left and right and getting sick left and right, then we can just pretend like there's no problem. And we can PR our way out of it. We can market our way out of it. We can bullshit our way out of it. That's the mindset. You even have, there was a report from New York, the New York Health Agency released this really interesting statement where they were talking about bird flu and they were talking about the rise of all these different illnesses that are going around right now. And basically they were warning people like, hey dog, just so you know, you might want to throw a mask on. This was coming from the state of New York. Now he can't muzzle the state health agencies. And so they're like sending a message here, right? Like if I were you, I would pay close attention to whatever it be, the state of New York, the state of California, any functioning state. Listen to what their health agencies are saying. Because in a world that made sense, the CDC would be screaming this as well. Our federal health agencies would be screaming it as well. But clearly there's a war on these agencies behind the scenes led by Trump. All right, and then we also have, God, it's just, I have so much fucking stuff, guys. I have so much stuff. Okay. Where was I? Oh, let's talk about the Doge staffer. So there was a, I believe, 23-year-old pilled up Elon soy boy yes man who was one of these people who was illegally hacking the Treasury and all these different government agencies. And get this, one of the staffers resigned over racist posts. I was literally floored when I saw this headline because I was like, homie, you do realize like none of this stuff lands anymore, right? Like, the right is a bull in a china shop. Maga is a bull in a china shop. They don't care about truth. They don't care about reality. They don't care any scandals that involve their people. They just sweep it under the rug and move on like nothing fucking happened. So to see that this person resigned, I was shocked that this person resigned. Because it's like, you don't realize that you 100% would have gotten away with this, right? Well, guess what? Now, so this comes out. You have Elon Musk demanding that he get hired back. You have J.D. Vance, the vice president of the United States, coming out and saying, yeah, you let him back. This guy was fucking eugenics posting. But they're like, yeah, bring him back. Who cares? So now that's the level of social decay we're at, where it's like, my assumption would have been he would have never resigned in the first place. I'd be surprised if Elon's little 23-year-old pilled up freaks are not all fucking massively racist, all Groyper types, right? So I was just surprised at the fact he resigned in the first place. But now it's like, it might be a situation of, yeah, I'm resigning, but also, okay, now I'm going to come back. I mean, that's where we're at, right? And we also have foreign policy stuff. I mean, apparently Donald Trump, where was it? Where was it, y'all? Where was it? Oh, here it is. Trump is imposing sanctions on the ICC, the International Criminal Court, accusing it of targeting the U.S. and Israel. So it says here, Trump has been critical of the ICC since it issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu over alleged war crimes in Gaza. So the U.S. is imposing sanctions on the International Criminal Court. I mean, you already had international law as a concept, human rights as a concept, the UN as a concept was already laying on the ground, bleeding from its mouth, half conscious, and he just fucking walked up with a pistol and went, pop, pop, and just ended it completely, right? Like, between him saying the U.S. is going to own Gaza, we're going to own it, we're going to take it over, him casually announcing that like it's nothing, just rolling the clock back to 1800s-style imperialism and colonialism, talking about building Gaza Lago, having a hotel. But they got great property there, great beachfront property, beautiful weather, beautiful weather. For him to casually talk about that, from that moment, like that moment on, it was like, okay, we have now entered officially the Twilight Zone. We are in not just the bad timeline, the world's worst imaginable timeline. And, like, our leaders just fucking are Nazis now, right? Like, they're just Nazis. And so here you have the ICC, who, by the way, bent over backwards to be fair and bent over backwards to be neutral, where they said, we're going to charge the Israeli war criminals, but also the leaders of Hamas, who we also think are war criminals. That's what they did. And they did that expecting the West to be like, bro, you're only targeting Israel. How dare you? You need to target Hamas, bro. They anticipated that and said, we'll get ahead of it. We're charging the top Hamas officials and the top Israeli officials, right? Guess what? Didn't matter. Didn't matter. The U.S. just went, no, fuck you. We love our war criminals. We love our genocidal, bloodthirsty, neocon, warmonger maniacs. And now we're going to sanction you for doing your fucking job and calling balls and strikes. That's all they did here, guys. They looked at it and they said, holy shit. How many schools did they bomb? Dozens. How many hospitals did they bomb? Over 30. How many UN buildings did they bomb? That's a lot of buildings that they bombed, bro. How many humanitarian aid workers did they bomb? Damn, bro, that's a lot of fucking people that they bombed. How many kids did they snipe in the face? How many times did they reject medicine from going into Gaza where people desperately need it, where children were getting their arms and legs amputated with no anesthesia and no painkillers? Wow. Hey, it looks like they have concentration camps where they're graping Palestinians to death with a metal rod. This seems bad. This is all they did. Just, it described what is. And Trump looks at it. Nope. Impose sanctions on the ICC. Why? Because he's fucking bought, just like the rest of them. He's taken over $300 million from pro-Israel interests his entire political career. The most recent one was $100 million from Miriam Adelson. And guess what? He's giving Israel everything they want. He let them illegally annex the Golan Heights. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. He did the fake Abraham Accords, which was just a way of saying fuck you to the Palestinians, right? That's all that was. And now, lifted the ban on the 2,000-pound bombs, Israel using those. He's like, go right ahead and use them. We don't give a fuck. Kill whoever the fuck you want. And now sanctioning the ICC. I would get banned if I was going to say the thing that I want to say right now. So I'm just going to bite my tongue a little bit here. Okay. And then finally, I have one more for you. I guess we're switching gears here a little bit to a little more lighthearted, I guess. The reason I say that is because Kanye had another Nazi meltdown. So as you all know, he had a Nazi meltdown not that long ago. Was it a year or two ago now? And he went on Alex Jones' show, and he was like, I love Hitler. And Alex was like, oh, what are you talking about, Kanye? I think what you mean is that you think the uniforms are really cool, those Hugo Boss uniforms. Is that what you're saying, Kanye? And Kanye was like, no, I love Hitler. That's what Kanye was saying. And so it became very clear, okay, this guy's fucking gonzo. He was also wearing like a fucking stocking on his face. He looked like a freak. You guys can go back and watch the video I did on it. But he had a pro-Nazi meltdown, right? Same guy who said slavery is a choice, all this nonsense. And so he went away for a little bit. He just came back the other day. He was at the Grammys or whatever award show it was, and he was with his wife. And he basically had his wife butt-ass naked on the red carpet, right? And it was a classic example of, look at me, look at us. You see what I did? My wife has nipples. My wife has nipples. You see your nipples? You see your nipples? And it was just weird, right? And so everybody kind of looked at it and was like, oh, okay, Kanye's being insane again. And everybody moved on in half a day. Nobody really cared. Very, very little talk about it, at least that I saw, right? So what happened? Kanye looks at that and he's like, oh shit, I'm an attention whore and I didn't get the attention I wanted. Better go back to that old tried and true strategy of I'll just Nazi post again. So he goes on Twitter and says, quote, I'm a Nazi. He also says stuff like, what was it? It was, Hitler is so fresh. He also posted about, he has dominion over his wife. Okay, he said, I rejected 3 Make-A-Wish kids from taking a picture with me or something like that. And like, so I'm sitting there reading this and honestly, bro, like I'm like yawn, stale, boring. First of all, you're washed as fuck. You're Shaq on the Celtics. Like, that's what you are. Second of all, bro, I don't know if you've been on Twitter lately. 50% of these motherfuckers are Hitler posting. Every day I wake up and scroll the timeline and I see some, like, epic compilation of Twitter of Hitler's best moments, right? Like, I see so much Nazi apologia. Elon Musk did fucking, like, 3 Nazi salutes the other day. He did 2 during the inauguration, bro. Like, you're not edgy, you're not cool, you're not interesting, you're not unique. Like, you just look like a fucking idiot, because all you look like fucking idiots, right? Like, the whole point, oh, look at me, bro, I'm so edgy, bro. I said the thing I wasn't supposed to say. I said the thing I was supposed to say. Oh, did you? Oh, you're so brave. You're so courageous. Like, the bottom line is, the guy's a massive fucking attention whore. And on top of that, he is severely bipolar. He doesn't take his medicine. He might even be paranoid schizophrenic. And he allegedly takes laughing gas all day and night. He huffs nitrous oxide all day and night. And, like, that's probably fucking cooked his brain, right? It probably has. And so, you know, an untreated, mentally ill man who's making it worse with other drugs that he shouldn't be using. And then he does this. And also remember, all the incentives now, certainly in the social media era, all of the incentives are like, I'm going to be the biggest edgelord. I'm going to be the biggest prick, right? Just like with like Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers and all those freaks. Oh, look at me, bro. Oh, I said the edgy thing, bro. I did it, bro. And it's like, you guys don't understand. We're not even, like, at this point, I just look at you with pity. Like, I pity you. Like, you're all fucking retarded. You're all basically mentally children. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's all about, like, literally like a toddler jumping around. You ever have a toddler, like, try to get your attention, or maybe a little older than a toddler, I guess you'd say, where they're like, kids are like, look at this, and then they, like, do a jumping jack or something. And you go, oh, ooh, Billy, that was amazing. This is kind of what they're doing. They're doing the pathetic adult version of that. And, like, you just look like you're all living massively unfulfilled lives. You've driven yourselves crazy online. Now all the incentives are for everybody to act out and be an edgelord, so now 50% of Twitter are fucking Nazis. And exact same incentives here are hurting Kanye West. I mean, he wants to be the loudest one in the room. He wants to be the edgiest one in the room. He wants to get all the attention. He's, like, failed at all of that. So he just goes back to this, right? And it's like, again, yawn, beyond washed, beyond Celtics Shaq. And also, go take your fucking medicine, bro. Not for the sake of me or anybody else, but for the sake of you. He's going to put himself in an early fucking grave. It's called Seroquel. Get antipsychotic medication and come back down to fucking earth, right? But no, it'll be, you know, where do you go after this, right? Where do you go after this? Where do you go after this? That's a serious question. Not just for Kanye, but for all the other Nazi posters. Is it like, and this literally happened, but there was a Maga terrorist the other day who literally was posting on Twitter and recorded a video of himself in a shootout with the police, and he ended up getting murked. That's where this ends, right? How do I one-up my Nazi posting? I got an idea. Let me record myself getting into a shootout with cops. Let me get my head blown off on fucking camera. Like, this is where we're at, bro. This is where we're at. So the social media age is making everybody absolutely insane. Everybody's just a little attention whore freak. The Nazi posting has become so boring. But, like, at the same time, these motherfuckers have power. They have power. Like, Elon is a fucking Nazi. Like, they have power. And they're doing things. Like, the way Kanye is posting, I got news for you. The motherfuckers in Doge are all like that. Right? And they have control. And they did a coup. And so it really is the worst timeline imaginable. But, yeah, there you have it. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of updates with Elon and his coup. And all the spending freezes. And Kanye West further losing his mind. If anybody left on this fucking planet supports this guy or loves this guy, for the love of God, slip the pills into his fucking drink or something, right? Put it in applesauce like you do for a dog. Like, just help him out, bro. Help him out. Because this is a dark downfall, dude. That's for sure.